Why don't we ever tell secrets in a bakery? Well, because the bread always rises to the occasion. Welcome to our world of bread making, where the aroma of freshly baked loaves lingers in the air. Today, we're diving into the art of crafting homemade bread, a skill that fills kitchens with warmth and hearts with joy. And remember, this isn't just about baking. It's about having a good time, laughing and learning. So buckle up, because now that we've had our slice of fun, it's time to get our hands doughy. First things first, gather your soldiers: flour, yeast, salt, and water. Yes, that's all you need. You've got to admire the simplicity of it. It's like a minimalist dream recipe. Now, let's break it down. Flour, the foundation of our bread, is the plain Jane who's always reliable. She's a bit of a wallflower, but without her, we'd have a crumby situation on our hands. Next, we have salt. Salt is the unsung hero of the bread world, giving it that subtle kick, like the bass guitarist in a rock band. Water, well, she's the life of the party. She brings everyone together and gets the party started. Last but not least, we have yeast. Yeast is a bit of a diva. It requires warmth, food, and a bit of time to bloom. But once it gets going, it steals the show and makes our bread rise to the occasion. Remember, in this dough-mance, yeast is the one that makes your bread rise, so don't let it feel neglected. Now, it's time for a little workout. Flex those muscles because we're about to get kneading. You see, kneading dough is a bit like wrestling with a blob of stubbornness. It's going to resist, it's going to push back, and it's probably going to try and stick to everything it touches. But don't worry, we're not going to let a ball of dough get the better of us, are we? Think of it as your own personal gym session. You don't need to lift weights or run miles when you've got a lump of dough to contend with. Who knew that baking could be so good for your biceps? And speaking of resistance, the dough has a mind of its own. It will stretch, squirm, and even spring back when you least expect it. But don't let it fool you. You're the boss here. Show it who's in charge. Keep kneading, keep pushing, and before you know it, you'll have a smooth, elastic dough that's ready for the oven. And let's not forget the satisfaction of seeing that dough transform under your hands. It's like magic, but with more flour. So keep on kneading. And remember, if you're not covered in flour and feeling the burn in your arms, then you're probably not doing it right. Phew, if you're not sweating, you're not kneading hard enough. Now comes the part where we twiddle our thumbs and wait for the dough to rise. It's a bit like watching paint dry, but at least there's a delicious end to this. Picture this. You've been kneading and rolling, and now your dough is resting peacefully, tucked under a warm blanket, ready to rise to the occasion. This is the moment where you can take a breather, maybe do a little dance, or even have a quick cat nap. But don't doze off completely, because this is also the time to keep an occasional eye on your dough. It's like your dough's personal trainer, encouraging it to grow and expand. During this time, your dough is doing its magic, becoming light and airy, ready to transform into a sumptuous loaf of bread. But remember, patience is the key. It's like a bread baking meditation. You're learning the art of waiting. And remember, a watched dough never rises. All right, our dough has risen to the occasion, and it's time to pop this baby in the oven. The oven, that glorious, fiery beast, turning our humble dough into a golden loaf of deliciousness. Now, this isn't just any baking process. No, this is like a sauna session for our dough. A steamy vacation that transforms it from a soft, squishy blob into a crispy, crusty marvel. Imagine the dough lounging in the oven's heat, slowly turning from pale to a beautiful golden brown. It's like watching the sunrise, but tastier. And the smell, oh, the smell, it wafts through the kitchen, a tantalizing aroma of warmth and comfort. It's like getting a hug from your grandmother if your grandmother was a loaf of bread. Now don't be fooled by the loaf's humble exterior. Inside, it's a party of flavors, a fiesta of textures. It's the bread that dreams are made of. And there you have it. Bread so good, it'll make you say, "Dough, my goodness."